Good day everyone, my name is Marvel Angayu, a second-year college taking Bachelor of Science in Criminology at Davao Central College. For today's video, you are listening my podcast about this topic, Law Enforcement Code of Ethics. As law enforcement officer, my fundamental duty is to serve mankind. Too often we forget that the enforcement is not just job for which we are hired as one would hire a laborer. It involves a sworn duty. Service involves dedication and sacrifice of the giving of oneself. These are words that many find hard to swallow in his present day and age, but the job of professional law enforcement requires a special breed of man. To safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against violence of disorder. We must, however, understand some of the limitations that are present in a truly democratic society. In such a society as ours, this task can be a difficult one because protecting the rights of the criminal, this is sometimes a hard pill for law enforcement officer to swallow. It is easy for an officer to become better when he has continually witnessed the ends of justice thwarted by red tape politics and technicalities of the law. The more truly idealistic he is, the more frustrated he can become, especially if he lacks of philosophy or understanding of his true purpose in society which he serves. To respect the constitutional right of all men to liberty, equality, and justice. Respecting the rights of others is not one of the man's natural qualities. It seems to be part of his nature of suspect and persecute justice on this earth. Now, will there ever be, because man is not all-knowing nor he is himself perfect. Still, we must strive for a form of justice that represents our ultimate capability. This involves not only great on the part of every person in the community but individual sacrifice as well. I will keep my private life unsold an example to all. One of the first things that a law enforcement officer must learn is that he has no private life. Every citizen should be entitled to his own private life, yet, when a person accepts the calling of the law enforcement as a voluntary measure, he must be willing to often his privacy as a sacrifice to the good of the community which he serves. A law enforcement officer could hide from his neighbor the fact that he is a policeman. Then, his private life could be his own. If a policeman has a family, his occupation will become known in the neighborhood within a few days at the most. If he's single and keeps to himself, he may keep his secret a little longer, but if he is engaged in active law enforcement within his community, it is inevitable that his neighbor will become aware of it. Once this is known, he will become the subject of constant observation. Maintain courageous calm in the face of danger, scorn or ridicule, and develop self-restraint. Most officers are prepared to face physical danger and the public accept it. This is due to the fact that when most people think of the people work, they think of the high-speed chases with guns blazing and similar situation in the which the officer's life is in constant danger. In a democracy, a police officer is a public officer and as such is a servant to the community instead of being above approach of ridicule. He must accept to receive his position as part of his job. It's not easy to control his temper when being subjected to unnecessary and unjustified scorn or ridicule. Whatever I see or hear of a confidential nature or that is confident to me in my official capacity would be kept secret unless revelation is necessary in performance of my duty. Some officers feel that there is a difference is that the information obtained by the doctor and attorney is freely given with the understanding that it will be confidential, whereas the information obtained as part of the law enforcement officer can be the result of many resources of forms of investigation. I will never permit personal feelings, prejudice, animosities, or friendship to influence my decision. It is quite difficult to know which desire is strongest in some persons, to help our friends or to hurt our enemies. Both desires are part of our human nature. Helping our friends can be a very good thing in itself, but then it's involved an iniquity in the administration of justice. We are fulfilling the oath we made to the community in which we serve. In police work, there is sample opportunity to both hurt enemies and help friends, and it takes person of strong character to properly perform his duties under these circumstances. Without professional conviction, this can be impossible. I will never act officiously. One of the faults that is common to new officers is that they often act officiously. They appear to the public to be over-impressed with their own importance. In a way, this is natural because it is associated with pride, and a new officer is usually very proud when he first put on his uniform and badge. With no compromise for crime and with relentless persecution of criminals, I will enforce the law courteously and appropriately without fear or favor, malice or will. The term with no compromise for crime means that crime will not be knowing permitted. It does not mean that the officer must perform his duties to the letter of the law without taking into consideration the spirit of law. No one can predict or guarantee the final result of any ethical. Only God can do this. Man can only be responsible for his immediate action if an officer does a good job and the criminal is released by the court. The blame rests not upon him but upon the court, the jury, or society itself. I will never accept gratitude. Gratitude take two main forms. First is the gratitude given by a person with the sole intent of receiving something in return. Second, that is giving solely but of a respect of law enforcement and the job that the police officer are doing to be truly professional. We must first be ethical. We must do what is actually desirable, not merely what we would like to be desirable. I recognize the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith and accept it as a public trust to be held so long as I am true to the ethics of police service. This is the most overlooked and forgotten facet of law enforcement by the men of the field. It is this that enable an officer to suffer the difficulties and problems that the held at times. So frustrating and discouraging, police officer must understand that he is one of a selected few. Officer should also understand that any personal reward will not be obtained from the public itself. For the public is difficult master, there is to be personal reward. It can only come from the job itself or from knowing the significance of the job and the essential role that play in society. I will constantly strive to achieve this objective and ideal, dedicating myself before God to my chosen professions, law enforcement. Proficiency in law enforcement involves many factors. It involves mental, moral, and physical conditioning. They are all important aspects. The officer who let himself sleep physically is certainly not able to protect society. The officer who is in good physical condition has more confidence in his ability, and this is sensed by those with whom he deals, and as a result, he finds that it is necessary to exert authority as much as it might be otherwise. However, knowing and understanding the code of ethics is not enough. It must actually be practiced. It must be live. Thank you and God bless.